AI is fundamentally reshaping the software development lifecycle, promising to increase productivity by up to 30% and add $1.5 trillion to global GDP. In this talk, Carolina Dolan, Chief Digital Officer at Globant, will dive into this and other insights from a new report developed in collaboration with MIT Technology Review.
Many years ago, when I was studying engineering, I used to go home and practice whatever I needed to do for school and write in this sort of alien language in my computer. My mom would look at my screen and go, "What on earth is this person doing?" She speaks English, so most of what I wrote, she could semantically somewhat understand. But the reality is that she didn't know what I was telling the computer to do, how I was telling it to do it, or in which way I was communicating with it. If I even go to myself nowadays, if I try to read some of the assembler code I wrote back then, there is no way I'm going to understand it. Today, with all of the advancement in artificial intelligence, we have some of the prominent voices in the market saying that software engineers are no longer going to be needed. They talk about a future where everybody's going to be a developer, where nobody needs to study this. And the reality is not quite so. We were able to work with MIT to do some research to understand where we stand, how things are going. We interviewed more than 300 business leaders, and we discussed with them, where do we think AI is changing the software development lifecycle today and where it's going? And the results were somewhat what we expected. Only 12% of them are talking about how AI is disrupting fully their software development lifecycle. But the things that interest us the most is someone like Niranjan Topol from Google talking about how this is actually showing the value that engineers have beyond coding. With research that they did, only about 10 to 15% of an engineer's time is actively spent on coding. This shines a light on the value of developers that we hadn't seen before, or at least we hadn't seen it as clearly as we do now. There are, of course, obvious areas of benefit in this software development lifecycle that we all see immediately. Anything that has to do with QA, broken builds, prototyping. There are tons of areas where AI is going to help us immediately. But the conversation is different. The question we're asking is not the right one. It's the wrong one. This talk is called The Future of Software with the AI. It's not the call about the future of software development with AI. What's changing is the relationship between humans and machines. Whereas before, I had these humans that were coding in a unique way. Now I'm going to have an interaction with machines that is completely different. Let's go again to that past. I used to study in the same campus that architects were. I used to go with no computer because laptops were extremely expensive. So I would just go to study and I would have a computer at home or a computer in the computer lab. I had architects in the building right over, and they would come with these huge blueprints. They had to do everything by hand over there. You could immediately tell who was who. You could immediately tell, you saw us, and you could see who was going to engineering, who was going to architecture and design. Now, you look at our desk, you look at us, and it's exactly the same. We both use computers. We have software that enables us to do every single thing we need to do. It's completely impossible to tell who's who, to the point where most companies don't even have assigned desks anymore. We don't need them. You just carry the tiny computer, you go everywhere, and everybody's work is similar. We went from a very divergent experience with technology with a very converging one. The fun is in the next step. Up until now, technology has been a tool available to us. We use it any way we need. We have people who can create software that allows us to use it in a way we need. We're going into the point where technology is going to be serving us in a different way. We're going into an agentic future. Now, you've heard lots of people talk about this. You've heard Jensen Huang, you've heard Mark Benioff. Everybody's talking about the agentic future because this is where the relationship fundamentally changes. Instead of us using the technology as a tool, the technology is going to be there doing things for us. And it's going to reach out to us whenever it needs us. But it's not going to be a demand from us. It's going to be constantly executing different things that we need it to be executing. This changes what a software developer is. As a software engineer, I don't need to know how to code maybe, but I do need to understand human behaviors. Where is the value? Where's the humanity of the person? So that I can make sure that there's an agent doing anything that is not so human, anything where that difference doesn't exist. Software engineers are becoming some sort of anthropologists, to the point where companies like Home Depot are doing things that are not new. They're sending all of their software engineers to work at one of their locations at least once a month. What that gives them is the power of observation. It gives them the power of understanding those behaviors. It allows them to become this new sort of role that can understand and use technology in a way that will enable those people. Every single behavior is going to be changing. And this is not in the next 6 months. Of course, it's going to be in about 1 to 10 years. Actually, 70% of our respondents say that it's going to be in about 3 to 10 years. We're extremely excited about everything that comes with that. It's not about the software development lifecycle as a simple thing. It's about this future that AI has enabled for all of us. It's actually, to me, in my view, having done this for a while, it's one of the most exciting times to be a software engineer. Because becoming an analyst of behaviors and understanding how technology is going to change every single person's work is a unique place to be in, and I'm very excited for the future.
We've heard it all about generative AI and its possibilities. Wait, have we? Let's turn down the volume on the noisy AI hype and listen to real expert insights from the latest MIT Technology Review Insights report, produced in partnership with Globant.
So generative AI is just beginning to transform the software development lifecycle. We are laying the groundwork now, creating exciting opportunities for everyone.
We're going into the point where technology is going to be serving us in a different way. We're going into an agentic future.
Well, guess we haven't heard everything about generative AI yet.
Dive into the future of software with insights from industry disruptors in the latest MIT and Globant report.
Globant, technology that dares to delight.